How are tertiary institutions dealing with free higher education announced by President Zuma last year? Was this announcement in line with the recommendations of the HEHA Commission? Why is the EFF encouraging prospective students to use the walk-in application method? And on which conditions will learners' first packages allocated to returning students be converted from loans to bursaries? What time is it? It's question time. Khotsong, Gurula, Mraro, and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Yesterday, representatives from the country's 26 universities held a meeting in Pretoria to deliberate on the contentious free education issue. In December, former president of the ANC, Jacob Zuma, announced that government would extend fully subsidized free higher education to poor and working class youth from this year. He also clarified that poor and working class students will now refer to currently enrolled TVET colleges or university students from South African households with a combined annual income of up to 350,000 rand. Addressing the media last week, Higher Education Minister Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize said due to the weak economy, there is limited space for any new policy commitments. She said as a result, free higher education will be phased in over a period of 5 years. Funding for qualifying students will be provided through a system which will see the packages of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme being converted from loans to bursaries. We are live. Therefore, you can call us. Your views. The numbers to dial is 089-110-4210. International number +2789-110-4210. Our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. And a reminder that you can also live stream us on our Facebook page, SABC News Online, and our YouTube channel, YouTube/SABC Digital News. My guest today, Professor Ahmed Bauer, is the Chief Executive Officer of Universities South Africa, USAF CEO, and Urdiritsi Maseme, is a Wits SRC President. But before we start the show, let's take a look at what some prospective students had to say about the application process.
We are not received any assistance yet, but we are still waiting for assistance. But we arrived early in the morning, around 6:30. The line was too long. We are still waiting even now. Yes, but we hope we are going to get assistance very, very soon.
Yes, I'm very happy. They're very effective. I came here a bit early, but the lines are moving very fast, and I was able to be assisted and register. And now I'm going back home.
Lucky for us, now they have it's just a walkthrough. They gave us forms for free, so they're saying we're not supposed to pay the application fee.
Okay. Our numbers 089-110-4210. Please do give us a call. I would like to hear from you. What do you think of this whole process? Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Prof. How are things? Have students been walking in?
Yes, students have been walking in true to the call of the EFF, and of course as led by the EFF Student Command that is governing a lot of tertiary institutions currently. Students have been coming in successfully at Wits. I mean, on average, we administer about 600 students. There are those who have not even applied, but the SRC itself, together with, of course, the EFF Student Command on campus, actually assists. And I can tell you that the turnout rate in terms of the case by case that we deal with is quite impressive, and really shows that USAF and a lot of other vice chancellors in the country had nothing to panic about, because the process is very moderated, it's very efficient, and really at the end of the day it achieves what everyone wants in terms of access to institutions in South Africa.
Are they paid?
Prof, are they paying? Because that's the question that we need to be asking, because we don't know where we're standing in terms of the implementation model that the government seems to be holding back from everyone. The government simply, or the President of the Republic simply recklessly said that there's going to be free education for so and so. But to date, there's not been any kind of administrative function that is going to guide both the universities or the students in terms of how this is going to work. So we don't know where this free education is. We would like it, and would definitely not like to register at least in the next coming weeks.
Okay, Prof.
No, I think, look, we raised it on the 16th of December, we raised the question of sustainability, whether there is money on the table or not. And of course, we were really concerned about the fact that the Minister of Finance said he was only going to make it clear in February in his budget speech, where the money is going to come from.
Yeah,
having said that,
you had a state security minister in one of the briefings the other day, and I was wondering, is education a state security matter now?
Yes, I think that was the interministerial committee, and it's an odd kind of combination, if you like. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just begin by saying that from our point of view, and I would say we, I mean our university's point of view, right?
Yeah.
It's a fait accompli. We can't go back on the president's statement. So now the big question is, how do you try and manage the 2-week or 3-week periods to get the new system working, right? Because that's what you are left with. Essentially, we would have liked to have had 6 months or a year, to get the whole system functioning and so on.
Yeah.
Instead, we've got 2 or 3 weeks. And yesterday's meeting was precisely about that. It was about saying, what are the log jams? How do we kind of address it? What do we do with students who will, in fact, walk onto campuses and seek admissions, and how do we deal with that?
Who has to benefit out of this? Is it just junior degrees when you go post?
Yes, no, this is aimed totally at undergraduate students.
Okay.
Does not refer to postgraduate students at all.
Okay. Vincent, you are in Johannesburg. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
I'm okay, man. I think let's clarify the issue of the free education. EFF, they must not mislead the South African people. They've got nothing to do in terms of the university issues. I think the people that they should be called in is the higher education minister. That will need to come and give clarities. That's true. The free education, as they've been saying, President, His Excellency Jacob Zuma, he was just pulling a political stunt, to say that they are giving free education. Now they must stop misleading the South Africans. It's ANC that is giving the free education, not them. They cannot call the people of the country and say they must flog the universities. There's processes that need to be followed.
Vincent?
Yeah.
Okay. The EFF never said they brought free education. And I mean, you are right. It was the ANC president who said so. But they are beneficiaries.
The beneficiaries in South African people. So they must not push the issue as if it's their own agenda. So they still need to prove to South Africans what is it that they can do for South Africans. Okay. For now, they haven't done anything. For now, they've got anything that shows that what are they stand for. Because their issue was only standing to bring down Jacob Zuma. So there's nothing that they are listening to the South Africans. So that's why I'm saying people, the party that are leading the issue of free education, it's ANC and His Excellency Jacob Zuma. So those are the people that we need to get clarity from.
Okay, thanks very much, Vincent, for that call there. Well, I guess, I mean, you are South Africans who have to benefit from this free education. But indeed, is there a political element here? Is the EFF trying to score some political points out of this?
No. And before I answer you, I would like to respond to Vincent. And I'd like Vincent to tell the 9 first-year students that were rejected by VETS to do a medical degree that we helped as the EFF-led SRC, who are now going to be enrolled at medical school at VETS Med. I would like him to tell him that the EFF has done nothing for them. I'd like him to tell all the flocks of parents that have come on our campus today and have left happier because their students, their children who have been rejected are now enrolled at VETS. He must tell those parents that Jacob Zuma has registered their students or has registered those children. There is no political point scoring that we are trying to make as in the part of the SRCs. What we are here to do is serve black students. What we want to do is to ensure that access to higher education is opened up to everyone, despite your financial standing.
Also, white students are not getting the walk-in, and I mean, they are not benefiting from your services.
I wish I could lie to you and say they are, but the demographic says differently. I mean, out of 10, probably 0.5 white people come.
Well, so there's none.
Chairs. So basically what I'm trying to say is that what the people who need this response more than anyone is the majority of the South Africa, and that is black people, and don't have to be shy about it.
Prof, how far are we in terms of the academic year? Are we at a point where you can say, as universities, you have determined that it's going to be a smooth sail, or these are too early days?
Yeah, look, at the moment we're not concerned about the campaign of the EFF. I mean, the EFF has very responsibly indicated that he doesn't want to have chaos on campuses, and we accept that. And by the way, we also applaud the role of the EFF in identifying this group of students and saying, how do we help those students to come onto campus and to kind of really facilitate their admissions and so on. So we've got no problems with that. The really big challenge for us is to try and ensure that we have a good start to the academic year, because what we can't have is another academic year which is like lost. Well, yeah. Where students start the academic year on a bad platform and so on. Okay. The second thing I should just mention is that while we applaud the EFF's role in getting students to apply and so on and come onto campuses, we also feel that the students should also apply through the cash system. I'll tell you why. It's not because we want to avoid students coming onto campus.
Yeah, but they're saying those things of yours crash all the time.
It's not ours, by the way. It's the Department of Higher Education Training.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I want to emphasize it is the following, right? See, it's very likely that there'll be, as the days go on, it's very likely the students will discover that there are no more places available. However, on a daily basis, each university is sending data to the cash system to say, in this program we've got 7 places. In this program we've got 4 places. Okay. So it's an aggregation of all the data from all 26 universities. Okay. Which means that the students then have access to not just to the university where they are pitching up, but they're having access to all 26 universities. Okay. Now, the fact that the system is not working, in fact, I had a call from a parent today to say the system is not working. That's something we have to address with DHET. It's not our issue.
Ngabi?
Yes, sir.
Sepitor.
Yeah, okay, Uncle, how are you and the members there?
No, I'm well. Thanks for the call.
Yes, my concern, Uncle, okay, I appreciate the issue of the bursary introduced, the free education introduced by the president. But still, there is a missing link here. Like when the president said that the people who earn a combined salary of 350,000, they mustn't pay for the fee. Yes. Is he saying that somebody who is earning a combined salary of 351,000, that person is earning? So I think they should have said that those who are earning maybe between 350,000 maybe until 600,000, they must pay half of the fees. Not to say that they are left out, because they are still left out. And then are they saying these people, because they'll be taking their kids to the university, they mustn't buy houses, they mustn't buy cars, they mustn't eat? Because it's like to them, to the president, our president, because the president of the country, those people are earning a lot.
Okay. Gabi, thanks very much. Let me give you time to respond.
So, I would like to agree with the previous caller, right? I think that, and this is what we've been saying a long time ago, that the tools of analysis that the government employs in order to determine what is a poor student historically have failed majority of the people that they're supposedly existing for in the first place. I think that the government has, together with universities, have very lazily tried to identify what is a poor student and which student qualifies to be identifiable as poor. And I think that that's extremely correct, that we need to relook at how we define which students really most desperately need funding to institutions of higher learning.
So who is going to pay here? Somebody is going to pay. Who is it?
So can I just respond to that question first before I... Is that okay?
All right.
Yeah. No, look, I understand the analysis. And by the way, it's not the university's model either. It's the government's model. We didn't make that recommendation to the Hare Commission.
Yeah.
We made a different set of recommendations. So, but the one thing that we have to accept, that what this new model does, if it works and if it's sustainable, is that it does open up access to higher education for a very significant number of young South Africans. And we have to accept that. I mean, even though it has this very major flaw, which
significant according to who? Significant according to who?
90% of households in South Africa fall into this category. And that is a major advance. Now, I'm not suggesting it's the final solution, you know, and what we should be saying to the government now, and we should do it jointly, what we should do to the government, say to the government now, is let's have a roadmap. This is a fantastic step forward, but how do we get beyond this, right? So that's, you know, that would be my response to that question.
I'm saying, okay, who is going to pay this year? Foreign students?
Foreign students are paying, for sure.
And they have to pay cash up front and all that.
And students, well, let me just say everybody is paying, except that students that come from families where the household income is below 350,000 will receive a full bursary.
So what if what if your system siphons people and say, okay, they do afford, therefore, you know, you are prioritized, and then Masebe doesn't afford, and therefore he falls out?
Yeah. Well, why would universities do that? Because at the end of the day, students who are earning up to 350,000 will have a full bursary to cover the cost of the studies.
Do universities like this concept?
We think that there are other ways of doing it, but no. Let me complete. We think there are other ways of doing it, but we think that this will have a huge positive effect. This model will have a huge positive effect on a significant number of young people who, let me put it this way.
Okay.
Young people...
Prof, let's agree that you're not answering
No, let me answer the question. For 90% of households in South Africa now, 90%.
Yes.
If a young person in that household is admitted to a university, that family won't have to worry about where the money is coming from.
Yeah, but that wasn't my question, Prof. My question was, do you as universities like this concept?
I've just answered your question.
What did you say?
What I'm saying is that for the vast majority of South Africans, universities become accessible and affordable with this model. So I'm saying that that's a very good step forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is on.
That's a guy.
To hot guy.
No, I had them root here. I must also greet them.
Right.
Yeah, I nearly put my line down, you know. I was thinking that maybe perhaps you forgot me, that I'm standing by.
No, sorry about that.
Okay, Mr. Dadambo. You know, first of all, I must congratulate the EFF Storm Student Command are doing.
Yes.
They are doing a very good job by helping even the university and the poor government. Because those two, the government and the universities, both of them are so useless. How can you let the poor kids to stand the whole day on just a heat day? It's so hot, extremely hot.
Yeah. They
just left them there, and nobody's there is coming and telling them, do this, do not do this. There's no information. But then I must say to EFF, Student Command, keep up, guys. You are doing a very good job. You know, for this issue of free education, it's a pity the president did a very reckless and a useless statement by just saying vastly free education.
Yes.
And just leave it like that. The poor and the useless minister there, thank you. He's got no information at all. Is the money there or the money is not there? Even the finance minister, he can't come up and say, yeah, the money is there.
Yeah.
But so surprisingly is that the government, each and every year, revenue is collecting a lot of money. and give it to the government. The government take the money and give it to the Guptas. That's why South Africa we are suffering about free education. The money is then from revenue. But then the government is playing duck and diving. So it's so disappointing. But anyhow, thanks a lot, Mr. Mpo. Keep shining, my brother. I enjoy the show.
Thanks very much, Rason. I always find it very, interesting how the Guptas are brought into each and everything. Now they're coming into free education. But, well, how would you describe the current state? I know this is a question that I had asked you, but I think it's important that we get some clarity. Are people paying as they come in? The ones that you're helping, are they paying the registration fees? Are they paying the costs and all that?
So right now where we are in the process, that is it's still too early to tell.
Yeah.
But when you're asking me the question, are people paying? And it's a yes or no, I'll definitely say yes. People are paying. And here's my reasons. I'm a returning student, right? I was at Virgin University last year. I have an outstanding balance. And I have to pay in order for me to register this year for this current year of study. So if you're going to ask me, are people paying? The answer is a very big yes. People are paying.
How are universities dealing with that aspect?
Again, I just want to indicate that this is not a USAF, that's not a university's project, it's a governmental project, right?
Yes.
So as I understand it, the project is a 5-year project.
Yeah.
Right? It's being phased in. We contested that. We said it should really apply to all undergraduates. They felt that they didn't have enough money for that, so they're going to phase it in over a 5-year period.
But they didn't tell you how much they have, actually.
We don't know yet. But they claim that they've got the money for it.
Okay.
So we have to take it on trust. But let me just answer the question, right? So if a student, it's a very simple formula as far as I can tell.
Yes.
If a young person is admitted to university and falls into the category of being in a family where the family income is below 350,000,
yeah,
we are assured by government that there will be a bursary for those young people. That's it.
So what happens to...
No, so for second years and third years, it's a different story.
Oh, so
for second years and third years, my understanding again is that it's going to be phased in over the next 2 or 3 years.
Oh, so students who are getting free education are first-year students?
Correct, but no...
First-year students who apply into this complicated, weird bracket
of
350,000.
That's correct, yes.
And then another one that's now also on paper that has...
So the second years and third...
There are advantages for second and third years in the new system.
Yes.
The advantages are that from this year onwards, and unfortunately in your case it'll just be for 1 year, but for second years and third years, from now onwards the loans will be converted to bursaries.
So there's no real free education in essence. There's free education, but also if you're and also like that.
Yes, but it's the bursaries for young people that come from 90% of South African households. That's whether we like it or not. I didn't like the way. Can I
ask proper a question? Are you saying that 90% of the applicants to universities in South Africa this year come from 90% of the households in South Africa?
I didn't say that at all.
Okay.
I didn't say that at all.
Okay. Now, this announcement was made way after students or prospective students had applied.
Correct.
So, what happens? I mean, I'm not understanding this.
We've made a public statement, right, to the effect that we don't like the idea that the fees issue is being made a political football, because the announcement on 16th of December made it exactly that.
So you don't like this concept?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that we would have liked to have had major consultation.
Okay.
We would have liked to have had a strong major discussion.
Yeah.
And we would have liked to have had enough time to roll out the system so that everybody understood what was going on.
But USAF, right, and you're the CEO of USAF, said with the Department of Higher Education and Training, and yet we're still in this mess.
What do you mean we sat with you?
You had a meeting with them
yesterday, but that was yesterday.
Okay.
That was to deal with crises.
Okay, we've run out of time.
This crisis.
Okay, we've run out of time, unfortunately. But thank you very much for clarifying some of these issues. We hope there at home that you indeed were clarified on some of the questions that you may have had around this free education. Well, we'll see how free it is. And that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, I've